Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome to History Unleashed, where we don't just tell the story, sometimes we experience it. I'm Leanne, and today I'm taking you to Bath, North Carolina, a place where the echoes of pirates, pioneers, and powerful legends still linger. I didn't just read about Bath's history, I walked it. I stood where Blackbeard may have plotted his next move. I felt the weight of the colonial struggles. And now I'm inviting you to journey with me through every street, story, and shadow of this remarkable town. Driving into Bath, it felt like time slowed down. The Pamlico River sparkled in the morning sun, and the air had that earthy, briny scent you only get from a river town. There was something old in the air, like the town was watching me as much as I was watching it. I could almost imagine the bustling colonial port it once was, ships unloading goods, merchants haggling, and travelers sharing news from distant shores. My first stop was the Palmer Marsh House, built in 1744. It's one of the largest and oldest homes still standing in Bath. But what struck me wasn't just the architecture, it was the stories behind those walls. The original owner, Michael Cantange, was a merchant and politician, a man who helped shape Bath's early government. But later, it became the home of Colonel Robert Palmer, a powerful figure who collected taxes for the crown. This wasn't just a home, it was a power center. I learned that the west parlor of the house was once used for legislative meetings. Imagine it, heated debates about colonial laws happening right where I stood. And Palmer himself, not exactly loved by everyone. He represented loyal authority at a time when tensions with the crown were heating up. I couldn't help but wonder, did these walls hear whispers of rebellion? Next, I visited St. Thomas Episcopal Church, built in 1734. It's the oldest surviving church in North Carolina, and stepping inside felt sacred. The old wooden pews, the scent of aged timber. It was like the past had never left. As I explored the churchyard, I found gravestones so weathered that time had erased the names. But one stood out. Governor Charles Eden, the man who pardoned Blackbeard, was buried there. I learned that during the Tuscarora War, this church wasn't just a house of worship, it was a place of refuge. Settlers would gather here, praying for safety as war raged beyond the town limits. Of course, no visit to Bath is complete without Blackbeard. Here's what fascinated me most. Blackbeard wasn't just a pirate, he was a neighbor.
Wow.
In 1718, he received a royal pardon from Governor Charles Eden. Legend says he lived briefly in Bath, and may have even married a local woman, his 14th wife, if you believe those stories. But Bath's residents had mixed feelings. Some saw him as a hero, an adventurer who shared his spoils. Others feared his reputation would bring trouble, and trouble came. When he returned to piracy, the governor of Virginia sent Lieutenant Robert Maynard to hunt him down. Maynard later found Blackbeard at Ocracoke Island. I stood by the water, imagining the night of Blackbeard's final battle, the clash of swords, the crack of muskets, and then silence. His severed head was hung from Maynard's ship as a warning. But here's the thing. Bath never forgot Blackbeard. His legend lingers like the mist over Bath Creek. Bath's history isn't just pirates and politicians. It's also about the people who were here first, the Tuscarora Nation. In 1711, tension between settlers and the Tuscarora erupted into a brutal conflict. Settlers had taken lands, disrupted trade, and enslaved native people. The Tuscarora fought back, launching raids on colonial settlements, including one that devastated Bath's neighbor, Newbern, which we'll later talk about in another podcast. The response from the colony was swift and devastating. With the help of South Carolina militias and Yamasee warriors, the colonists crushed the Tuscarora, killing thousands and capturing others to sell into slavery. As I walked through Bath's historic district, I realized this land holds layered history, victories and losses, joys and pain. And the story of the Tuscarora didn't end here. Those who survived migrated north, joining the Iroquois Confederacy. Now, speaking of the Tuscarora War, I discovered that Bath's co-founder, John Lawson, played a tragic role. Lawson was an explorer, a naturalist, and an author. His book, A New Voyage to Carolina, published in 1709, gave the world its first glimpse into the beauty and resources of the Carolinas. But his curiosity cost him his life. In 1711, while exploring with the Surveyor General of the colony, Lawson was captured by the Tuscarora. The tribe, angered by the settlers' encroachment, executed him, a move that helped ignite the war. I couldn't help but reflect on that irony. The man who documented the wonders of the land became a casualty of the conflict between its native people and its colonizers. One of my favorite stops was the Vanderveer House, built around 1790. It's a modest two-story structure, one of the oldest surviving homes in Bath. Today, it's a self-guided museum, but it feels more like stepping into someone's life. As I walked through the rooms, I noticed the simplicity: hand-hewn beams, wide plank floors, and fireplaces in nearly every room. This house tells the story of a middle-class family during the late colonial period. The Vanderveer family lived a life centered on farming, trade, and family, far from wealth and power of Palmer or Eden, but no less significant. What stood out most was the kitchen, separated from the house, typical of the time to prevent fires. I could almost smell the bread baking in the brick oven, hear the crackle of the fire, and feel the rhythm of daily life. Next, we went to Bonner House, built in the 1830s. This home sits right on Bath Creek, and its waterfront view immediately reminded me why settlers chose the area. The creek isn't just beautiful, it was essential for transportation, trade, and fishing. The Bonner family were planters and merchants, people who represented Bath's shift from a colonial outpost to a southern agricultural town. But what fascinated me most was the detached kitchen. Again, a common safety measure to prevent house fires. The kitchen was its own building, filled with tools of daily life: an iron pot over a hearth, a wooden table marked from years of cutting and chopping. Walking through the Bonner House reminded me that history isn't just about famous people, it's about families, about daily life, about the moments between the big events that never make history or books. After exploring these beautiful old homes, my daughter and I needed a break, so we stopped at a little gas station restaurant on Bath Creek. And you know what? It was perfect. We grabbed a couple of cheeseburgers, simple and delicious and exactly what we needed. The best part was the view. We sat outside by the Bath Creek. Boats bobbed gently in the water and the sun sparkled on the surface. It was a warm day too, right in the middle of winter. It was really nice outside. But what made it truly special was just being there, sharing a meal with my daughter in a place where history felt so alive. Sometimes it's not just about the places, it's about the moments. Bath was the home to the colony's first library. Founded in 1701 with 1,600 books from England, from a reverend, an impressive treasure for such a small settlement. Bath was a hub of global trade. Goods from Portugal, England, and the West Indies came through Bath's ports, making it small but global. It saw a lot of things. Rumors flew that the governor, Charles Eden, yes, the one who pardoned Blackbeard, profited from his pirate friend's loot. Bath had drama, even outside of battlefields and politics. As the sun dipped low over the Pamlico River, I felt something I often feel when I visit historic places. It's a connection. Bath isn't a town that belongs to the past. It's a town that brings you to the present. And it belongs to the present because it's the stories that are still here. You can feel them in the boards of the Palmer Marsh House or in the cool shadows of the St. Thomas's Church. The whispers in the Bonner House kitchen, and yes, even over simple lunch by Bath Creek. Bath just isn't a history book. It's a conversation, one that's still happening if you're willing to listen. So, what do you think? Did Bath surprise you? It sure surprised me. And here's my challenge for you. Find a place where history lives. Walk its streets. Feel its stories. Even though it may be small, it could have big history related to it. And if you enjoyed this journey, please share this episode with a friend. And don't forget to rate, review, and follow History Unleashed. Or visit us at our email and send us a message at historyunleashedleanne@gmail.com. That's historyunleashedleann@gmail.com. Until next time, keep unleashing the past.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.